We have a fundamentals practice, and in my 28 years of teaching yoga, fundamentals does not mean beginner. So let that sink in for a second. Fundamentals is about going back to the roots of the practice, breaking things down, understanding what we can harness as far as wisdom, and take a deeper dive into either a group of postures or a type of posture, and also a universal principle of alignment. And today's offering is about open to grace. And this is a profound concept that it woke me up a couple times in the middle of the night, thinking of like just the beauty of it. And as teachers, we often have what are called yoga stress dreams. And that's something like you have a whole bunch of people. There was a couple hundred people there at this talk I was giving, and people started getting up. Some of my really good friends, they just started leaving. They had to go to a bar. And I thought that was interesting, and it brings up this anxiety, and you're just like, you're in this dream. And then you can lucid dream and you're aware that you're dreaming. And so then the wisdom came in and said, just open to the grace of what's happening, Tiff. And I took a deep breath and trusted that everything was going to work out. So the practice of yoga comes to you in all ways, in all forms, and we receive messages and guidance. And as you start to embody these practices, they maybe will impact you in your dream world and hopefully in life off the mat. So as we open to grace on a yoga mat, it's about learning how to let ourselves settle. So you've propped yourself up maybe with a blanket or not, but you've taken a seat. So the first thing is you've trusted that you've done the right thing. Once you find your seat, let the wisdom of your breath start to flow without you trying to control it. So just see if you can step into the river of your breath. And give it that sound, that audible sound that a soft ujjayi breath would have. You don't need a really powerful ujjayi breath right now. And that's where you gently close off the back of your throat and you're pulling life into you and letting it move through you and into and through. And so you just start to remember that you're being held in this beautiful embrace of energetic, conscious wisdom. So one of the first ways we access open to grace on a yoga mat is through the breath and by feeling how the parts of your body that touch the sticky mat, the earth, the ground, have been placed. Now, as you start to trust what's below and breathe into what moves you, you should hopefully find a natural settling where everything from the focal point, in this case, the hips, roots downward naturally as you let the breath, the diaphragm move down, the ribs move out, and the inner body brighten and lift. And the key word here is open. And it's this right now is the probably most advanced, hardest part of the practice, where you're going to defy whatever perceived limitations, subconscious or conscious, and let yourself start to grow and glow from the inside out. And over the course of a few breaths, the inner body brightens. And then when the shoulder blades come onto the back body in a little muscular energy, the arms can start to feel like they're floating like lilies on a pond. And draw your hands to your heart. metaphorically, emotionally, mentally, we can use open to grace to help us trust our ability to expand and receive something that may be a little confining in our life off the mat. Like an audience full of loved ones deciding they want to get up and go have a beer. Just trust what's going on in your life to lead you to the next perfect place. And so we open with the sound of Om, and we'll do that 3 times to remind ourselves that we're part of the bigger flow. And slow, deep breath in. Long, luxurious breath out. Inhale. All right. Release your hands, open your eyes. Today's focal asana, the peak pose, is Parivrtta Trikonasana, the revolved triangle. So I'm going to stretch you on your back today, which is an unusual place to start a yoga practice, but we're going to use it. So as you lay on your back, bend your knees and take cactus arms. So your arms will spread and open. If you've got tight shoulders, you may need to take a blanket and put it under the backside of your hand so that the hand elevates higher than your elbow. Or you can extend the arms further out towards straight. We want to find a place where there's no strain in your body. Now, the reason I chose this arm position is it naturally helps lengthen the space between the ribs and the armpit, which is critical in an open to grace moment and harder to find without over efforting. So now I'll invite you to gently shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, set them, the arms further up towards the ears, and let them relax. And what we'll need to do here is pick up your head and set it back down so that you feel like you're. And now breathe into your back body. So with the knees bent, feet on the floor. We're going to learn. It's a learned skill. It's a yogi. It's a siddhi. To breathe into your back body. So feel how the breath can expand, especially your floating ribs. See if you can use the breath on your exhalation to soften the back of your body. And this is going to have a profound effect, not just on your nervous system, but actually on the venous system, how the blood flows all the way from the hips to the head. Now see if you can keep the floating ribs back and extend your right leg to the foot of your sticky mat. And that's going to take some doing, especially if your hips are tight or your back's tight. So try to keep the breath moving into your back body and gently root through your right heel, spread your right toes. And now even harder to do is to use your core on your exhale, tone your core. And now trust the core strength to lift that left leg, knee over your hip. And we'll just start there. For this first phase, it actually helps root the back body to the floor. And then it's extending your left leg up towards the sky, not trying to overstretch, but just using what you've got inside you, no hands. All right. And now with your exhale, bring that lifted leg down, set it to the earth, pull the one on the floor up to meet it. So both feet are now on the ground again, and it's going to feel like, you can take a deep breath. And that's an open to grace moment right there. Look for those in your life. The moments. Now extend the left leg down. Keep moving the breath into the back body. Tone your core with exhale as you root through the left heel, spread your toes, and we'll pull the left knee right up over your hips and pause in a breath. Keep the breath moving into the back body as you extend left leg. Maybe the hamstring's so tight, the leg doesn't go all the way straight, and that's okay. No hands. Now, can you breathe into the back ribs? And if the ribs have moved away from the floor, the point where you feel strain, move the leg that's on the floor back to the sole of your foot. So you release the tension, then you can breathe into your back body. That means you'll rebend the bottom leg. And see if you can access the breath, stay open to universal trust as you re-extend the left leg. Deep, deep, deep breath. Fill yourself up. And as you exhale, pull everything into the midline and bring the feet to the mat. Take an breath. Help yourself roll over to one side. And we'll come up to hands and knees. So that was your pre-practice. Now we'll take that into a downward dog and just see what happens here. Open to the sensation of the hands on the earth, the balls of your feet on your mat. And see if you can, like you did when you're on your back, guide your breath from the front of your body to the back of your body. And you want to look for a soothing opening, one that feels like, I like being here. I don't have to work too hard. There's a bigger energy holding me. Now exhale your feet forward, forward fold. Slide your hands up to your hips, lift your elbows to the sky. Pause here. You're in a 90-degree fold. Bend the knees as much as needed. Move the breath back and wide. And we'll use your next inhale to rise up. Inhale, reach up. When the arms go overhead, the lower belly likes to push forward. See if you can breathe your ribs back as you lift the arms. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, side bodies long. Place the hands, dog pose. Pedal out, dog pose. Shift your hips around and think about inner body bright, full of breath. Consciously trust the earth below. Push into it with both hands and right foot to lift your left leg up with inhale. And as you exhale, step it forward. If you need 2 blocks, you'll take them under your hands and plant your back foot, and we'll take a pose called Parivrtta. So it's not too unlike the one we did on our back. Press down with the breath into your feet. Lengthen your side bodies as you inhale. Good. Now here's what I'm interested in as a more advanced yoga practice. Can we pull the front hip towards the back of your mat? Muscular energy, and then use the next breath to let the inner body float longer out of the anchoring energy of the hips. On your next exhale, try to keep the length of your upper body as you step forward, standing forward fold, and the blocks will move forward to help accommodate a side body long. And now we'll step left foot back. We'll skip the dog. Most people tend to shorten their side bodies. We tend to bear down on ourselves just like we bear down in life. So pause and take a deep breath where you feel the earth. Open to your breath. Get anchored in your body. Pull that front hip towards the back of your mat. Now let the breath do the heavy lifting. Make it light like a feather and float the rib cage into the back body and the armpits toward your ears. Now take the blocks, move them away, and we'll sweep that front leg up and back to a three-legged dog. Lower the lifted leg, inhale, plank, and lower to the belly. Like you did on your back, breathe the floating ribs into the back ribs, and then come up for cobra, anchor the tailbone. Keep breathing into the back body. Sometimes it helps to humbly lower your head, your gaze a little bit, and move the breath into the kidneys. And up and back, downward dog. Walk it forward with exhale. Inhale, reach up, touch the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. If you've got two blocks that you're working with, you'll take them behind each foot in a wide-legged stance. If you're not using blocks, open to a wide-legged stance. Turn your left foot to the front of your sticky mat. Turn the back toes slightly in and then pull with your inhale, pull the back arch towards your front heel and then the front heel towards your back arch. And it really does actually matter, that krama, that sequence. Now here's a good moment to open. So feel your feet, deepen the breath, and then let the arms follow the inhale. Rather than letting the arms lead the inhale, open to them. Following and root down, brighten up, lighten up. Anchor through the back leg as you tip it down for triangle pose. And I used a block on purpose. I don't need it really, but I'm gonna back out of my pose today and let the breath reign supreme. So less effort, more trust. Soften the lifted arm. You can bend the elbow a little bit. Move the femur bone of the back leg towards the heel. Move the thigh back. Wrap the buttocks of the front leg towards your front heel. Pull it under. Now press from your hips down through the legs more and let the spine lengthen. Now we'll start over. Inner body bright, side body's long. Take a deep breath and move the floating ribs into the back body. Anchor into the earth and let the inner light grow. Now we'll find open to grace again. Feel your feet, deepen the breath, float the upper body out of the strength of the hips. Beautiful. Root down. Use the back leg, rise up softly. And we'll bend the front knee, reverse that. Inhale, warrior two. Pull the back arch towards your front heel, lift up into the breath. We'll take Trikonasana one more time. And this time we can go second highest height on the block, maybe, not necessary. Now you go into your open to grace moment. What do you hear to feel today about trust and openness? Breathe into that. Anchor into that and rise up. Bending the front knee, reverse warrior. And find that deep, deep opening of breath. Use the strength of the legs, float the arms open to warrior two. Pull the front leg to straight, widen the heel, go to side two. Relax your arms down, shrug out your shoulders. Feel the feet. Pull the back arch towards the front heel and then vice versa. Pull that up into the hips. Yeah, so open to grace comes first, but we can use it again. Once you set the strength of the legs, use that deep, sweet breath and follow its lead. Trust it to lift the arms. Hold the strength of the legs and we'll tip it down. Easy version of triangle. And go inside your being, your vessel, and see if you can line up the upper back thigh more with the lower back ankle. So push the thigh back, wrap the front buttocks down, press from the legs to the feet, lengthen the breath, and now get spacious again. Make more room to enjoy. Anchor through back leg, lift up. Bending front knee. Take a big, glorious breath. Inner body bright. Pull the breath into the back body and up and over. Front ribs into back ribs. Find what feels good. Inhale, warrior two, soft and light. Reaffirm the strength of the legs. Pull from foot to hip. Keep that. And now lighten up the upper body. Just say, I'm going to stop over efforting. I'm not going to use the muscles at the base of my neck to lift my arms. I'm going to trust my inner body. Hold that power. Trikonasana. You can lower the block or remove it. Active feet, steady shins, thighs back, thighs wide. Anchor the tailbone. Lengthen from the hips to the earth. And now brighten up the breath again. Float the upper body again. Reach through back leg, warrior two. Reverse warrior, use the strength of the legs and stay open to possibility. Less effort, more grace. Inhale. Now we'll turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Wrap your hands behind you. Lift up elbows. And squeeze the feet. This is a perfect place to demonstrate when we, especially when we go into a back bend, we tend to pump and open from the lumbar hinge. So take your floating ribs and breathe them back. Trust your back body, and maybe you need a strap here and fold into yourself. Maintain steadiness in the legs. And see if you can let the wisdom of your breath grow the space between the ribs up towards your armpits passively. Hold your leg line, release with the shoulder blades, release your hands down to the earth. Pull the heart forward, inhale. Take your right hand and place it underneath your eyes, left hand to your hip, squeeze the feet. Now use the breath, open to the power of your breath and lengthen the rib cage to the armpit. Exhale, push through the legs to turn to the left. Inhale, stretch the arm that's on your hip up to the sky. So this is an easy version of Parivrtta Trikonasana. Enjoy it. Breathe into it. Trust this version. And we'll unwind. Change hands and pause. So that's a good open to grace directive as a teacher. Remind your students to pause, feel their feet, Feel your fingertips open to your breath. Maintain strength at the legs and continue to pull the left ribs with the breath from waistline to armpit, armpit towards earlobe. And with softness, turn from left to right. Anchor that back into the earth. Now wait for an inhalation and trust it to lift the right arm up. So we just bring so much grace to the practice. Inhale, come on down. Turn to frame your front left foot in a lunge. And we'll bicycle lunge it. Straight leg and bent leg. And straight leg and bent leg. Try to access the power of the legs more than the tension in the arms and the neck. So soften up in the upper body and trust the lower body. Straighten both legs, shorten your stance a tiny bit. If you'd like, a block under right hand. Let's just pause for a moment. Everyone, lift the heel of your back foot and come onto the ball of your foot. Keep that muscular energy pulling from the foot to the hip. Push more through the ball mound of the back foot and try to wrap that right hip more forward as you pull the left hip further back. From your pelvis now, lengthen the bone through both feet and see if that back heel wants to come closer down to the earth. It doesn't have to come all the way. Now we'll soften into an open to grace moment again and pull the hips back and float the upper body forward, rib by rib. Maintain that length. Squeeze the outer left hip towards the inner back thigh to twist. Open to the left. Anchor down through the legs, and like a balloon, we float the left arm up with inhale. Inhale, unwind it. Step it forward. Pause in your breath. Shake out your head, let go of limited definitions of self, and trust the path. Anchoring from hips to heels. Breathe in, inner body bright, side bodies long, lengthen halfway up. If you were sitting on a blanket at the beginning of class, try not sitting on one now and see if you've opened your hips and your back enough that you may not need it. And you'll know if your knees come lower than your hips and it feels easier to sit. If the knees are still up here and you're feeling tight, prop yourself up. And I said this so many times, but as a teacher, if I suggest people use a prop, I will use a prop. It just helps those who need the prop trust that they can trust that part in themselves, that there's nothing wrong with them. That's a egoic mindset that the yoga practice, I think as teachers, we can hold space for and help. So it just feels nice to find space to sit up tall. Now, where your arm bones come out of your shoulder socket depends on the length of your arm. And but here's another tip. If you can, use the breath. So everyone go like this. I'll turn a little sideways. You want to find the place where you're not straining, but you're using a little tug on the wrist, a little pull back with the arms, some strength in your core, and you want this part of your body, your neck, to feel super light and easy. but you've got a little tension in the shoulder blades, a lot of strength in your core, and the breath feels like it can flow. Now, if you can find that there, you can find it here, but it's not as easy because we don't have body parts touching body parts helping us pull in to shine out. And where the hands rest, you want the arm bone to drape naturally out of the shoulder socket. So not too far forward, not too far back. Close your eyes, let the eyelids meet. Now find a really soft breath in through your nose. And see if you can use that soft breath that comes in through the nose, not just to the felt linear sense where it moves from nose to the behind the eyes, but expand the energy behind the eyes horizontally towards the temples. Expand the energy in the front of the ribs horizontally, so the back of the ribs also grow. Now, see if you can feel the energy in your pelvic floor just broadening and sinking down to the ground. And to the degree that you can feel the pelvic floor holding you, imagine, use your mind's eye, that the crown of your head is equally dilating to the sky. Draw your hands to your heart. Put a little more pressure on your fingertips, less pressure on the base of the hand. And to whatever way you can expand the definition of open to grace, the concept of open to grace, the felt sense of open to grace that you felt on your sticky mat today. Make an offering that this meets you in your life off of the mat today. Maybe in a moment at a stoplight or in a grocery store line, or when a document's taking too long to load, or someone in your life says something that's a little less than kind. How can you open and trust who you are on the inside to hold you? And we'll use our Om right now to make that same wish for our human family. May we learn to live in grace together. May it start with you. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale. Oh. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for sharing your grace with the world around you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you.